Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a top 10 list today, so I'm going to be looking at my top 10 favourite George Harrison Beatles songs. So these are going to be 10 of my favourite songs which George Harrison wrote for the Beatles. So yeah, I think George was a brilliant songwriter. Like he really blossomed like throughout like the Beatles like career, like sort of like started off maybe like a little bit patchy, like some like off like his earlier songs, like maybe weren't quite up to the same standards like off like Lennon McCartney's, but like as like the Beatles' career progressed, like he became, I would say, equal like to like Lennon McCartney like by the time of like the Abbey Road album, like and like their like eventual breakup. So yeah, I'll just be doing a top 10 roundup of my favourite George Harrison Beatles songs. So first, I've got a couple of honourable mentions here, ones which I had thought to include like in like my list, but like didn't quite make the cut. So those are Long from the White Album, Think for Yourself, I Want to Tell You, and Don't Bother Me, which was his first attempt. A good song there. So those ones there, all really good songs, all just not quite good enough to make it into my top 10. But anyway, we will just get started now with number 10. Which is a really underrated Beatles song called It's All Too Much, which was featured on the Yellow Submarine film soundtrack album here. And this is a really great song. It was recorded in 1967, this one, and it's a very sort of psychedelic track, this one. I really love the production like on the song, the lyrics on it are like really great. It is maybe a bit long towards the end. It maybe goes on a tad. It's about 6 minutes, this one, like in like length, like they could have shaved off like a minute or two. But the actual song itself is like really good, like really underappreciated there. So yeah, definitely one to check out, like if like you're not too familiar with It's All Too Much from the Yellow Submarine. Next up at number 9 was a B-side. It was a B-side to the ballad of John and Yoko, and I would say this song is every bit as good as its A-side. So it's Old Brown Shoe Now. It was featured on the Blue album here as well, rightfully so, because I think it is a really great song. Like it's a really sort of like bouncy track. Like I believe the song was written like on the piano, which is quite unique like for George. Like of course like his like main instrument was like the guitar. We've also got some fantastic bass work on it, great lyrics like on like the track. Overall, just again a really good underrated Beatles song. Next up, we go back to 1967 now for probably one of George's most psychedelic tracks. It is Blue Jay Way, which was from Magical Mystery Tour, and I've just always got a soft spot for this. Really, like it's a song which, like again, like divides a lot of fans. Like some people really dislike this song, but I have always had a bit of a soft spot for it. It's just such a mysterious sounding track. It's quite a spooky song, again, like some ways of that. Like it's just yeah, really mysterious track. I really like the production on it. Ringo's drumming like is also on point with this song. So yeah, Blue Jay Way, yeah, fantastic song, like great wee video section like in that Magical Mystery Tour film as well for it. So yeah, that comes in at number 8. If I needed someone. And then we go back a bit in time, 1965 now, to their album Rubber Soul and the song If I Needed Someone, which is one of my favourites on Rubber Soul. I just love the guitar sound on it. It's got this really sort of chiming 12-string like Rickenbacker sound on it, very Birds-like. I also love like the 3-part harmony vocals they do like for like so like the chorus like and verses like off like the song. It just sounds so good, this song, like really, like again like lyrically like it's sort of like what you would maybe like expect like from like early Beatles work, but musically I think it is just a really fantastic sounding track. Like every band member like pulling their weight like on this one here. So yeah, If I Needed Someone, really good number there. You don't realize how much I need you. Next track up from the album before that, also from 1965, is I Need You, taken from Help. And yeah, this is another great song. I love, like again, like the chords to the song are like really nice. It's just really well put together, this song. Like I would say this was George's first classic song, like which like he wrote, like I would say. Really great lyrics on it, like quite so like pleading like lyrics, like I think like written like about his relationship like with like Pattie Boyd. And like yeah, like it is just a wonderful song there. Like again, I like the guitar effect sound they've got going on like on it like as well. So yeah, if I need this is I Need You I'm talking about here. Yeah, really good song here. With our love Next up is one of the more like controversial songs like on like the list. Like I would say, like a lot of like Beatles fans that really don't like this song, but I don't really see why, because I think it is like just a real sort of testament like of like George Harrison's talent, like as like sort of like being able to like incorporate like other cultures like in like his music. So that's it would be Within You Without You from Sgt. Pepper here. Yeah, like a lot of people say this song just doesn't really fit like on the album, like it's a blot like on like an otherwise perfect record, but I think it is just a really great song, like sort of like and that is like the way like he uses both like Indian like instrumentation as well as like a classical string section. They just complement each other really well. Again, it's got really great like philosophical lyrics on it. So yeah, like just a song which I have always really liked on Sgt. Pepper.
Still my guitar gently weeps.
Okay, and then we go to the White Album now, and for the classic While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Now, originally this song was a little bit lower like on the list, because I have always felt like in my heart it is a little bit overrated, this song personally. Like it's never been one of my all-time favourite Beatles songs, like all-time favourite George Harrison songs, but I mean like when like you do listen to it, like you can see why it is such a classic. Like sort of like everyone, again, they all pull their weight like on this song, like sort of like from Harrison's like song itself, like the lyrics on it, really great. Like McCartney's bass and like piano work, I got it, Lennon's rhythm guitar, it all just comes together so well. Plus we've also got a great guitar solo from Eric Clapton like on the track. So yeah, like a real standout like on the White Album there, and we're coming at number 4.
'Cause I'm the Taxman. Yeah, I'm the tax.
Okay, and now at number 3, we've got one of my favourite opening tracks ever, like on like a Beatles album, or like for any album like of all time for that matter. It is the wonderful Taxman from Revolver. So yeah, just a great rocking track, like kind of like from like the introduction like to it, like with like this like with like really sort of like that biting, like sort of like real sort of like overdriven guitar like on it. It just sounds so great. Lyrically, it is Harrison like on top form, using like a lot of like wit, like so like comment like on to comment on like the Beatles like tax situation, like there's 1 for you, 19 for me. They were being like taxed like so like at like extraordinary levels like just for being like successful like around this time. And like yeah, like it is again all the band members pulling together really well, especially McCartney, like who contributes a fantastic bass line as well as a scorching guitar solo. So yeah, wonderful track to kick off a wonderful album here, Taxman.
Here comes the sun.
Okay, now my number 2 choice is from Abbey Road here, one of 2 George Harrison songs on Abbey Road, and it is Here Comes the Sun. So just a classic song, this one here. It is nowadays one of the Beatles' most popular songs. I believe it's their most streamed song like on Spotify, like actually. Despite that, it was never released like as a single, like believe it or not. So yeah, like it is just a wonderful song, just so much full of life and like happiness, like just a real sort of like bright song. Again, everything works well in it. Like I love the way it builds up, like from like so like the quiet like so like acoustic like introduction to sort of like the glorious harmony vocals, like the sun here it comes bit. Yeah, it's just one of them perfect songs like which like I really never tire of hearing. So yeah, that one would be my number 2 choice.
Something in the way she moves.
Okay, and then my number 1 choice is also from Abbey Road, and it is Something, which, yeah, I think is one of the best love songs ever written, I would say. And it is, yeah, again, possibly the best song, like, on, like, Abbey Road. Like, I would say George was on absolutely fine form, like, on this album, like, contributing, I would say, the 2 best songs on here. I just think everything works so well on this song, like from like the beautiful lyric like about like his relationship like with Pattie Boyd, like to like sort of like George Martin's production on it. Like you've got a great like string section on it which doesn't like overpower the song, it just complements it really beautifully. We've also got great drumming on it as well like from Ringo, especially on like the middle eighth, like you're asking me will my love grow, like so like the tempo changes up, and like yeah, it's just a really well written, really beautiful song. And like Harrison's vocals as well like are just like really nice, really like restrained. So yeah, Something, a wonderful song, and like yeah, my favourite George Harrison Beatles song. So that's us come to the end of this list. I hope you have enjoyed. I would be interested to know what some of your favourite George Harrison Beatles songs are. There aren't too many. There's probably only about, I would say, no more than 20 songs which he wrote during the Beatles career. But as you can see there, from this list, even just choosing 10 was quite difficult. As I said, at the start, he really blossomed as a songwriter, becoming I would say equal to Lennon McCartney by the time off Abbey Road. And although in a solo career, he would start off really strong with All Things Must Pass, he did slightly go downhill a little bit with Dark Horse, Extra Texture, those sort of albums, but he was always still a really great talent, really great songwriter, and a definite asset to the Beatles. So that's been my top 10 George Harrison Beatles songs. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time for the next